I read the book Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. I know the slide doesn't correlate with the 6x7 rule, but this book by far doesn't follow any rules, so I only saw it fitting to not follow any of the rules myself. This book is told through the eyes of Greg Gaines, an introverted high school senior. Greg tries to stay invisible as possible through his high school career, making sure he doesn't join any particular social groups and tries to draw as little attention to himself as possible. But this all changes when Greg's mom forces him to befriend a dying girl, Rachel Kushner. Greg's one friend, Earl Jackson, accompanies him through this trying journey of befriending a dying girl. Greg considers him to be more of an associate than a friend. He says this is because all they ever do when they hang out is make low-quality movies. They have made many movies, but never plan to show anyone at all. This book is packed full of lively details, but to spare your time, I will only share the most important parts of it. Later in the story, after Rachel loses all of her hair after going through chemo, she gets hospitalized. Greg falls behind in school and feels like seeing Rachel now is more of a chore than anything. Their conversations turn dull and dark fast. Rachel begins to talk about dying, and Greg is no longer able to cheer her up. Then one of Rachel's friends has an idea that Greg and Earl make a movie. Greg is reluctant, but Earl doesn't see the harm in it. Earl feels like if this is the only way to make a dying girl happy, then why not do it? So Greg agrees to make it, but only because he feels like he has to. After many trials and tribulations, Greg and Earl had finished it. They called it Rachel the Movie. To make a long story short, the movie they made got shown to the entire school, which the school absolutely hated. This totally ruined the invisible guy act Greg had going. Earl and Greg were no longer friends because they didn't see the point in hanging out anymore since they were no longer going to make movies anymore. The whole catastrophe resulted in Greg missing a whole week of school and not seeing Rachel during this week. Also, it resulted in Greg and Earl destroying all the movies they ever made. Even though the whole school hated the movie, Rachel told them that she loved it, and she told Greg and Earl that they should both go to film school. And now I will answer the burning question that yes, in fact, she died. In the epilogue, Greg explains to the admissions board that he wrote this book in order to explain why he failed all his classes his freshman year of college. It was because he was overcome with grief from Rachel's death. Through writing this book, Greg realizes that he doesn't want to go back to college. He wants to pursue his dreams and apply to film school. Through this entire story, Greg claims that he didn't learn any life lessons through Rachel's death, but in fact he learned what it meant to be alive. In light of honoring this book, I decided I would take the non-traditional approach to telling about the characters by writing a poem. Me, Greg, Earl, my best friend, and the dying girl, Rachel, who I hadn't talked to since Hebrew school. Me, a chubby white boy, Earl, a short, childlike African-American boy, and the dying girl, a short girl with frizzy hair. Me, a boy who tries to be invisible, Earl, a boy with an undesirable family, and the dying girl, a girl with leukemia. Me, shy and socially awkward, Earl, profane and violent, and the dying girl, awkward yet sweet with a good sense of humor. Me, a boy who was at first forced to befriend a dying girl, Earl, a boy who smokes and has done every drug in the book, and the dying girl, a girl who doesn't enjoy life. The first lesson learned in this book is that hot girls can make you do anything. Attractive people know the effect that they have on others, particularly those who are smitten with them. Madison is a prime example of this. The beautiful girl convinces Greg to make a movie for Rachel in an effort to make her feel better. The second lesson learned is that the best of friendships don't always start out that way. Greg makes it clear that the only reason he called Rachel and went over to hang out with her is because his mother made him, which is not the best foundation for a friendship. Their doomed friendship soon becomes the most important part of Greg's life, even causing him to neglect schoolwork. The third lesson learned in this book is that although laughter doesn't cure it, it does help ease the pain. Greg's jokes were not always solid, but he had a knack for making Rachel laugh even when she didn't want to. I absolutely love this book. Honestly, there was nothing I disliked in this book. It was genuinely amazing. My favorite things about it is that it was a non-traditional approach to a cancer novel. It wasn't just a happy cancer story where the girl and the guy fall in love. This book also encompassed crude humor. I love a book that'll make me laugh, and this one definitely did. Another thing I liked about this book is it had unusual characters. It had many different types of characters, and it was beautiful to see the way the author crafted them together. This book would appeal to the age group of about 15 to 20. This book had some crude humor and inappropriate language, which would most likely appeal to this age group. Overall, this book was great, and I strongly recommend that you would read it. Here's my works cited. I hope you enjoyed my magnificent, non-traditional book review. Bye!